Sometimes you send one photo and your entire life falls apart. I'm Noelle 36 and I thought I was being so clever. Quick like and subscribe if you're into real relationship drama. Anyway, here's how one stupid mistake destroyed everything I'd built. 12 years of marriage to Rhett and I was suffocating. People always acted like he was this amazing husband, but they didn't see what I saw. He'd gotten so controlling over the years, always questioning where I was going, who I was texting, making these little comments about my friends. The man had zero trust in me, which was ironic considering what I was doing behind his back. Nathan made me feel alive again. My boss at the office where I worked part-time, 44 years old, supposedly happily married to Eloise. When we started talking during late meetings, I felt something I hadn't felt in years: appreciation. He actually listened to me, complimented my ideas, made me feel like I mattered. Rhett just came home every day, grunted hello, and buried himself in his phone or the kids' homework. Nathan saw me as a woman, not just some live-in babysitter. The affair started 6 months before that weekend. Nothing dramatic, just coffee meetings that turned into dinners, then hotel rooms during lunch breaks. I told myself I deserved this, after years of being taken for granted, criticized for every little thing, made to feel like I was never good enough. Rhett had this way of making me feel stupid, like my opinions didn't matter. He'd interrupt me constantly, correct me in front of people, act like he was so much smarter than me. Nathan treated me like an equal. When I told Rhett about the spa weekend with my sister Callie, I expected the usual interrogation. Instead, he just nodded and said he'd take time off to watch Mason and Isabella. That should have been my first red flag. When had Rhett ever been that accommodating? But I was too excited about my romantic getaway to question it. The Grand View Resort was gorgeous, and Nathan had booked us the most beautiful suite. We had dinner at this expensive steakhouse, and I felt like I was in a movie. He ordered wine that cost more than Rhett spent on groceries in a week, told me I looked stunning in the red dress I'd bought specifically for this trip. For the first time in years, I felt desirable. That night, I was feeling so carefree and happy that I decided to send Rhett a photo. Keep up the cover story. You know, I took a selfie in the hotel robe with a glass of wine. Big smile, typed out something about having an amazing time with the girls. I was slightly tipsy and giddy from all the attention Nathan was giving me. I didn't even notice his expensive Rolex sitting on the nightstand behind me. When Rhett texted back, "Looks fun, I am here," I figured he meant he was there for me emotionally or something equally sappy. The man had a way with words that made paint seem exciting. I sent back some question marks and forgot about it. Nathan and I had better things to do than worry about my husband's weird texts. The next morning, we were having this perfect romantic brunch in the hotel restaurant. Nathan was telling me about places he wanted to take me, how he was thinking about leaving Eloise, how different his life could be with someone like me. I was eating it up, finally a man who appreciated what he had. Then I saw Rhett walking across the restaurant. My stomach dropped so fast I thought I might throw up. How the hell was he here? Nathan hadn't noticed yet, still talking about some business trip we could take together. I watched my husband scan the room like he was hunting, and when his eyes found mine, I knew I was screwed. He walked over calm as anything, sat down at the table next to ours like he owned the place. "Hey, honey," he said pleasantly. "Decided to surprise you. Hi, Nathan." The way he said Nathan's name, like he'd been expecting him. Nathan went white as a sheet, yanked his hand back from mine so fast he knocked over his mimosa. I tried to play it off, stammering something about Callie and our friend having to cancel last minute. "Oh, when?" Rhett asked, and I realized I was trapped. Thursday night, I lied. Weird because you texted me yesterday about having an amazing time with the girls, even sent a photo from your room. That's when I knew he'd figured it out. The photo, somehow he'd seen something in that stupid photo. Nathan was trying to leave, but Rhett told him to sit down, and the pathetic man actually obeyed. Here was my lover, the man who was supposed to rescue me from my controlling marriage, and he was folding like a cheap tent. "How long has this been going on?" Rhett asked. I tried to deflect, suggest we talk privately, but he wasn't having it. Then Nathan, weak, spineless Nathan, blurted out, 6 months, like he was confessing to a priest. I wanted to slap him after everything we'd shared, all the promises he'd made, and he was throwing me under the bus at the first sign of trouble. Rhett just nodded like he'd expected that answer. 6 months, that's a lot of girls' nights and late work meetings. He ordered coffee from the confused waiter, told him Nathan and I were together, but he was solo. The humiliation was burning through me. This wasn't how this was supposed to go. I was supposed to be in control here. I tried explaining that it was complicated, that Rhett wouldn't understand, but he cut through every excuse like butter. When I accused him of spying on me, he corrected me. Said he came because his wife sent him a selfie with another man's Rolex in it. I looked at Nathan's wrist. Empty. The watch was in my photo. Thanks for that, Rhett told Nathan, and I realized how completely we'd screwed ourselves. When Rhett mentioned contacting Eloise, Nathan went even paler. I tried to bargain, begging him not to destroy Nathan's marriage, but Rhett just laughed. Actually laughed at me. I'm not destroying anything. You two did that when you decided to have an affair. I watched him pull out his phone, find Eloise on social media, and type out a message. My whole world was crashing down, and there was nothing I could do to stop it. Nathan ran away like the coward. He was leaving me alone with my husband and the mess we'd made. The drive home was the longest 3 hours of my life. Rhett's phone kept buzzing with calls from Eloise. Apparently she'd suspected something but never imagined Nathan would actually cheat. I tried calling Nathan, but he wasn't answering. The man who'd promised me everything had abandoned me the second things got difficult. When I got home, there were suitcases in the living room. My suitcases. What's this? I demanded. Your stuff, essentials for now. You can schedule a time to get the rest. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. You can't be serious. The house is mine. You're not on the deed, not on the mortgage, not on anything. You need to leave. The house was inherited from his father. I'd never been added to any paperwork. 12 years of marriage, and legally I had no claim to our home. When I threatened to call the police, he told me to go ahead. 2 officers showed up and explained that if I wasn't on the deed and he owned the property, I had to leave. I ended up at Callie's place, and even my own sister wasn't entirely sympathetic. She kept asking what I'd expected to happen, whether I'd thought this through. Like I was the villain here instead of a woman who'd been emotionally neglected for years. Nathan had been fired from his job. Conflict of interest, they said. His wife had thrown him out, and suddenly he was texting me, constantly wanting to move in with me. The man who'd painted himself as successful and stable was broke and homeless, expecting me to take care of him. I was disgusted by his neediness. I tried to control the narrative on Facebook, posting about how Rhett was financially abusing me, keeping me from my children. Some friends supported me, but others started asking uncomfortable questions. Then Rhett posted that photo, my photo, with Nathan's watch circled. The caption read, "When your wife's girls' weekend includes men's accessories. 6 months of lies in now." The post exploded. Suddenly, everyone understood why I'd been kicked out. I deleted my post within an hour, but the damage was done. People were sharing his post, commenting about how they'd suspected something, how they felt sorry for him. I was humiliated. My lawyer explained that adultery would hurt me in the divorce proceedings. I wasn't going to get the alimony I demanded, wasn't entitled to half of everything. The house was his, most of the assets were in his name, and I destroyed my own credibility. I tried using the children as leverage, but Rhett had already documented everything, consulted attorneys, knew his rights. Nathan kept trying to rekindle what we'd had, but I saw him clearly now. Without his executive salary, he couldn't maintain the lifestyle he'd promised me. He was living in a studio apartment, asking to move in with me, expecting me to support him. The romance was dead. He was just another burden. I tried everything I could think of. Spread rumors about Rhett's mental state, threatened to expose his abusive behavior, tried to turn Mason and Isabella against him. Nothing worked because he documented our entire relationship, had evidence of my lies, and maintained his calm, reasonable demeanor through everything. The man I thought was weak and controllable had outmaneuvered me completely. 18 months later, I'm working retail at a department store, living in a 1-bedroom apartment, seeing my kids every other weekend. The divorce settlement was minimal, some savings, but no alimony, no house, no comfortable lifestyle. Rhett has thrived without me. He got a new position at his company, the children are happy and stable with him, and he started seeing someone new. She's everything I'm not. Financially independent, drama-free, genuinely kind to Mason and Isabella. She doesn't need him to take care of her, doesn't create chaos everywhere she goes. When I see them together at school events, I can tell he's happier than he ever was with me. The final blow came when I heard through mutual friends that he's planning to propose. His new partner has already bonded with my children, takes them to their activities, helps with homework. She's become more of a mother to them than I am, and they prefer staying at his house to visiting my cramped apartment. I still don't understand how everything went so wrong. I was just trying to find some happiness, some appreciation, some excitement in my life. Maybe I made mistakes, but Rhett pushed me to them with his controlling behavior, his lack of attention, his constant criticism. Nathan was weak when I needed him to be strong, abandoned me when things got difficult. Now I'm alone, working a job I hate, watching my ex husband build a better life with someone else. My children barely tolerate our visits, more interested in getting back to their real home than spending time with me. I've lost most of my friends, my family relationships are strained, and I'm facing the reality that my choices have permanent consequences. Everyone acts like Rhett is some kind of hero for how he handled everything, but they don't see the vindictive side of him. He could have handled this privately, worked things out between us, but instead he chose to humiliate me publicly. He destroyed my reputation, my relationship with my children, my entire life, all because of one mistake. The truth is, I deserved better than what I had with Rhett. I deserved someone who appreciated me, who made me feel special, who didn't take me for granted. I found that with Nathan, and yes, maybe the timing wasn't perfect, but love doesn't follow convenient schedules. If Rhett had been a better husband, if he'd paid attention to my needs, if he'd made me feel valued, none of this would have happened. But apparently, none of that matters now. I'm the villain in everyone's story, the woman who threw away a good marriage for a meaningless affair. They don't understand that it wasn't meaningless to me. It was everything I was missing, everything I craved, everything Rhett failed to give me. I guess this is my life now. Watching from the sidelines while my ex husband gets his happy ending with someone who doesn't challenge him, doesn't push him to be better, doesn't expect more from life than settling for mediocrity. Maybe they deserve each other.